Hi, everyone. Welcome back to MAP and another MAP chat. This is a time where we like to introduce you to one of our many resources that we have and bring to you on MAP. I'm really excited today to introduce you to Eric Jorgensen, and he is the founder of what used to be called Special Navigator, but is now called True North Disability. And he is bringing to you, all of you people out there that have, your loved ones that are going through all that they're going through and what you are trying to navigate through, and especially the world of disability and benefits. So Eric is that person for you. And so welcome, Eric, to Map Chat.
Thank you, Marikay. I appreciate you having me.
You letting us know and telling us about how you started your business and your organization.
Sure, it's a little bit of a journey. I retired from the Navy 10 years ago in 2012, and right around the time I was supposed to be getting ready to leave the Navy, my wife got ill. To the abbreviated version, she got sick, spent a week in the ICU, and I took her off life support after a week. And that left me and my son trying to figure out what to do. My son at the time was 12 years old. He's going to be 23 this year. He's got an intellectual disability. He's on the autism spectrum. And, as is so often the case, there's other things going along in there, learning disabilities, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with this 12-year-old going into summer break. They don't have babysitters. There's really no guidebook saying here's what you're supposed to do. My wife was a stay-at-home mom, and what struck me was how well-meaning people were, but how unwilling they were to be definitive about their recommendations. It was just very wishy-washy. Like, you might want to try this, you might want to do that, maybe this, maybe that, and maybe it was just me, but with everything I had going on, I just really wanted somebody to almost just take me by the shoulders and say, "Go here, do this. Don't think, just get it done." Right?
Yeah,
I didn't need any more ideas.
right.
And that led to me joining financial services because I thought a financial advisor gave advice. And then 2020 came, and you had COVID and the other stuff, and I had the additional bonus of having cancer. They took off the left side of my face for an aggressive melanoma, and while I'm recovering from it, I got to really thinking about what's important and how can I truly help families the way I want to help, right? I don't want to give financial advice. I really, truly think somebody needs to be telling families who just don't have the bandwidth to think or make a choice. Here's what you have to do. Here's how you do it. Here's where you go to do it. Here's when you need to have it done by. And I couldn't find anybody else doing that in that order. I had started Special Needs Navigator in 2017 as a hobby, to serve the families I was serving as a financial advisor and give them this information. So I'd already had the framework to give that advice available. So I incorporated it in 2020. And then this year, I've just been thinking a lot about how families and individuals, especially self-advocates, don't like the term special needs. It doesn't meet any specific disability. It doesn't really do anything for them, and I don't want to add to that. Well, I'm sorry you don't like it, but it's what I named my company, so I'm going to go with it. So I've rebranded. Well, I'm in the process of rebranding. I had no idea how involved it was going to be. I'm rebranding to the True North Disability Planning Service. I'm not trying to be everything to everybody. I know what I'm good at, and I've really been able to spend the last 10 years getting very, very knowledgeable about state waivers and what's available if you have an intellectual developmental disability. I'm not going to try to be that person for physical disabilities or mental health. It's just because I don't feel like I can serve them the same way.
Right, right. And it is so true because you lived through a very difficult situation and know firsthand, you know, what it's like for many, many people out there that are also going through the same exact thing. Maybe you can go into that explanation for people to understand what exactly your company does for people.
There's three areas that I highlight when I explain how I'm working with individuals and families. The first area is for transit people. If you have a family member, a child who is transitioning from high school, typically that's between the ages of 14 to 22. In Michigan, it's 14 to 26. If you have a child who's transitioning, what I've done is literally gone through and created roadmaps for every state in the country and DC, and you can buy them from the website. And those roadmaps are a step-by-step guide for everything you need to do. It'll have a checklist in there, and that checklist will have a link to whatever your state organizations are. So when I'm telling you apply for your state Medicaid waiver, you go to this checklist. It takes you to the link. The link will take you to where you need to go to apply. And if I can find it, not every state makes it available, but if I could find it, within that roadmap will be a copy of what you're going to have to submit, the actual applications. Well, this way you have the application, you fill it out, and then you just copy it into the website if it's available. Not every website gave me that option. And so that's the roadmaps, and if you wanted to hire me to help you with the roadmap, that's available, but it's designed to be a standalone because I recognize many families, especially when they're going through the transition age, they don't have the finances, or even the time to sit down with yet another person because they've got their IP team. Maybe they've got a education consultant. So let's just get the roadmap, work with your case manager with the roadmap, work with your other professionals or family members. You don't need to hire me. The roadmap is there to be a standalone document. If you have children over the age of 24, they're adults, you're going through complicated situations. Maybe you're getting a divorce and you're worried about child support for a disabled adult child. Maybe you're considering a move to a different state, or you want to get an idea of what you need before you retire, leave the workforce. I have a package I call Too Many Moving Parts. So like the transition age is the I don't know package, because that's how I felt when my child was leaving high school. And the Too Many Moving Parts package is because that's how I felt when I had cancer, when I was, it's just too many moving parts. I wish I had somebody else there to help me figure all this stuff out. And then the last piece of it is for all the professionals out there who are helping families. I'm offering them the opportunity to use me as for navigation as a service. So instead of you going out and hiring a full-time staff member, hire me. I've got a lot of this already bookmarked, so I can probably save you hours of research. Hop on a call with me, let me do what you got to do, and then you can continue serving your clients. So that's the three ways I'm looking at operating right now, Marikay.
That's great. Yeah, that seems like a very broad range of how people can use you.
That's really the goal is we're both parents, right? We we're ready for different things at different parts of the journey, right? Even now I'm struggling because I'm trying to take my son from self-directed into the agency, working with an agency, because self-direction just didn't work out for him. He's not mature enough to work with it, and it's a struggle. And I'm finding, once again, that challenge of there is just not enough time in the day to do everything I'm being asked to do. I wish there was an easier resource. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm right there too, and trying to juggle the life as the parent with, a child that needs a lot more support, and they are not capable of managing their own lives. And so what does it look like for you when you do help people? Like, what are you bringing to the table in regards to your knowledge about the world of benefits? Because it's so, there's so much there.
Great question. So, and I'm going to lead with what I don't do, because I'm asked this a lot, and I don't help people pick agencies at the state level. I just can't. I'm not. I don't know all the agencies in Maryland, which is where I'm based, and because there's just so many, so there's no way I could begin to do it for all 50 states. Usually what I spend a lot of my time helping families with is educating them about SSI and the disabled adult child benefit, because that is something that's asked all the time, and making sure they understand what it means if their child gets SSI or qualifies for SSI before the age of 22, and how those benefits might carry over when the child is old, when the parents retire, how the child's benefits may change.
Right.
Um, it's talking to them about, to some degree, about able accounts, but I feel that a lot of the states, the state agency running the able account does a phenomenal job training them, putting out webinars out there. So a lot of times I'll recommend families look for those webinars first instead of paying me to talk to them about something maybe they can get for free. If they can't find what they're looking for, then I'll do a deeper dive into how to use an able account with a special needs trust. What happens with the able account when you die, or when the individual, the beneficiary, dies, how to plan for that, those kinds of things. I will, and then generally speaking, it's more what to do first. When should they apply for a Medicaid waiver? What does a Medicaid waiver even mean? What are they waiving? How does it work? What kinds of things, what kinds of questions should they be asking? And more importantly, what kinds of questions should they be ready for when they make that application and the case manager makes that phone call? So that's a very broad overview of the types of things I talk to families about. Does that help?
It does. It does. Yeah. I think just a framework of what you're bringing to families. And do you work with other professionals as well? I mean, because I know that like you said, we have that team a lot of times, and people have a lot of times people in place already. So are you collaborating with them as well?
Yes. In a perfect world, I will always collaborate, because I really want families to be working with, at a minimum, an estate planning attorney, because I feel just about every family needs a special needs trust.
Yeah.
Not every family is going to have the means to get a financial advisor, nor should they. But I feel like everybody should think about getting a special needs trust. Other attorneys I've worked with are family law attorneys. I've worked with case managers who wanted to be there when I'm talking with the family.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's we're all different in how we approach things. And like you said, we do have a tendency to have so many things coming all at one time. And there's a lot of things that are not everyday norms for us. So when we get with professionals that are speaking their language, then it's hard to decipher as just, a parent or somebody that's not walking down that path or new to it, what exactly it is that they're talking about. But please share anything more that you would like.
Sure. I just want to let people know that I have a podcast called The ABCs of Disability Planning, where I introduce organizations that have a national reach, and many of them people may not have heard of. Some of them, like TrueLink, I think many people might be familiar with TrueLink, but to me it's helpful sometimes to get a peek behind the curtain to see what the founder's like. It gives you more of a feel for the culture of the company, right?
Right.
So I have a new podcast come out every week. So if you go to my website, it'll have links to everything. But thank you, Marikay. I really appreciate this. This has been an awesome opportunity. Thank you.
Well, great. Well, we are so excited for this new venture that you're going out into with the new branding. And I have seen your podcasts, so they're really wonderful. So they're great information. It is nice to, hear what they have to say and get to know some of these people that are out there, again, like what you're doing. So True North Disability Planning. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.